next speaker, Dr. Juhi Chakravarti. She is my colleague and currently principal scientist at our division, Bioceramics and Coating Division at CSIR CGCRI. And her honors, she has several honors, and most important thing is like she has received CSIR Raman Research Fellowship and spent a significant amount of time at Lehigh University, and then she is also selected and invited by Alexander John Humboldt Foundation, Germany, for participating in symposium. And she has supervised around 6 PhDs completed and currently supervising 4 PhD students and more than 15 master students. Her publications include more than 85 SCI journals, 5 book chapters, 3 US patents, and a couple of Indian patents as well. She has been editorial board member for Indian Journal of Material Science, Journal of Applied Physical Science International, Current Indian Science, etc. Now, today she will be talking about the many wonders of bioactive glass in healthcare. Dr. Juhi, the stage is yours.
Yes,
and same as you know, yeah, it is audible, and you
are able to see the slide?
Yes, we can see. And 12 minutes.
Yes.
12 to 30
yes,
minutes.
yes. Thank you, Dr. Bala, for your kind introduction. And so it is today I'll be going to talk about the wonders of bioactive glass in healthcare. Okay, the slide. It is a little bit. Yeah, it's a problem.
No, it is visible. Yeah, it is.
It's visible, but it is not moving to the next one. Okay. Yes. Yeah, now it is working. So there are two kinds of categories in which our divisional activity on the bioactive glass is going on. It is in the load-bearing arena and in the non-load-bearing arena as well. In the non-load-bearing arena, it is quite new in different kinds of soft tissue regeneration, then inhibition of profuse bleeding as hemostatic material, then as coating of urinary catheter tube for antimicrobial reason. And also, and one more very new application area is in hygiene products, in daily use hygiene products. It can provide a very potent antimicrobial coating. The bioactive glass can be used as a very potent antimicrobial coating. So as we all know, with old age, osteoporosis is a general happening for throughout the world. And what happens is, in this condition, due to day-to-day activity, there is pressure on the vertebra, which is a load-bearing vertebral column, which is a load-bearing part of our body, and then there is vertebral compression fracture. As you can see here in the right side, there is vertebral compression fracture, and the treatments available are vertebroplasty and kyphoplasty. These are the two minimally invasive procedures which are adopted. And the materials which are used is a very popular one. It is polymethyl methacrylate, and it is also termed as bone cement. But it is an acrylic-based bone cement and is bioinert in nature. And there are some other popular similar materials available for similar application, which is calcium phosphate based bone cement, which is bioactive. So the difference between the two is one can bond to the bone, the bioactive counterpart, and the bioinert cannot bond to the bone. And our requirement in this area is a combination of the two. It should be bioactive to avoid further fracture of the part. Because if a bioinert material is inserted, then subsequently what happens is there is load on the load gets transferred on the on the material, and it again subsequently transfers it to the damaged surrounding bone and creates more of fracture. So if it is bioactive in nature, then it will be able to bond to the surrounding bone. So so we need a combination of the property that is good biomechanical property as well as a bioactive nature. So in this area, we tried to work. So in our current work, what we had done is we combined this polymethyl methacrylate, which is the bone cement, with bioactive glass of a specific composition. And the whole work, the minimally invasive surgery is done under fluoroscopic control. So it should be radio-opaque in nature as well. So we have used one bioactive glass, which is multifunctional in nature. What it does is we have first synthesized it by sol-gel route, as you can see in the right hand side, and then combined it, reinforced it with polymethyl methacrylate. Here is one SEM showing the features of the polymer, which is texture of the polymer which is present along with the glass particles. And then there are some cytotoxicity assays also have been done with this material, which shows that it is completely non-cytotoxic in nature. And in this material, what we have obtained is it can provide direct bone bonding. And then that is why we can say it has osteogenic property and for antimicrobial action, because as you know, after implantation, there is lot of inflammation and bacterial infection which happens in the post implantation period. So for that, lots of antibiotics are needed to be administered. But in our composition, as it is multifunctional in nature, so we have also added one antibacterial component, so that there is no need of use of any administration of any antibiotic as well. And for radiopacity, this kind of bone cements are added with barium salts. And in our composition, we have made the glass foolproof in terms that we have added one radio-opaque component. So it has become multifunctional in nature. So there is in situ radiopacity also we could achieve. So this is, I think I'll skip these slides because of constraint of time, because this is showing the mechanism of action of the bioactive glass, how it integrates with the bone, and how it is good for this kind of application. So these are some of the results. It shows the after insertion of the glass, the mechanical property, the biomechanical characteristics might have been changed, but it shows that it is improving. It is improving as per STM specification. We had carried out the experiments, and the flexural stress is 33.55 megapascal, as it is shown. It is comparable with the market available bone cement, which is not having any bioactive nature. Then cell fixation study also we had carried out, which shows good cell integration with the substrate. And we have also carried out the compressive stress study that also shows a very good result, which is better than the bare bone cement. And here is one significant result we achieved recently, which is in situ radiopacity of the glass composition. And we carried out the radiopacity assessment test in a nearby center, and we received this kind of result, which shows that it is comparable with, this is the bare component, this is the glass we synthesized, and this is without any radio-opaque component in it. So this is the scale, Hounsfield scale, which shows it is comparable to bone. So under fluoroscopic control, this glass along with the bone cement, reinforcing the bone cement, it can be very well used. Another problem which I want to discuss is, I mean, it is common to very common worldwide. It is related to diabetic ulcer. I mean, there are millions of people who are having diabetes worldwide, and the common symptom is diabetic ulcer, which is very dangerous, and there are different stages as you can see, and subsequently it can lead to amputation of the limb as well at stage 5, Wagner stage 5. It is categorized by Wagner specification. So at stage 5, as you can see, there is amputation of the limb. So our composition of the glass, which is formed into nanofiber, but it is micro nanofiber actually. So when it is having a very it is having a texture which mimics the fibrinogen protein, fibrin clot, and which allows the platelet aggregation and extracellular matrix formation. And then as a result, what it does when it is applied to the diabetic wound, as you can see the foot ulcer, when it is applied, then within a period of some maybe couple of weeks, the wound is like this, which cannot be taken care of by any market available composition. And whatever market available compositions are there, as you can see, there are 3 or 4 categories. They are superficially just covering the wound. They do not heal the wound, and they do, as well as there is no question of regeneration of the damaged tissue. But our composition takes care of everything, and we published it in one of the publications, in one of the journals, in 2018. And for the last work, we have Indian patent filing, where we are doing it. Recently we are doing it. And in continuity with the diabetic ulcer work, so we have also carried out some pertinent cellular studies which shows the wound healing, in vitro wound healing assay in this particular GM00637 cell line, which shows excellent results. And then in vivo study also we had carried out in rabbit, and these are the wounds. And then within a period of 2 weeks, as you can see, this is our composition in the vehicle, and this is the vehicle which has been used, and this is the control. So in our composition, as you can see, within a period of 15 days, there is no scar also present. The wound, this wound is in the diabetic rabbit, it is healed completely. And antibacterial study also, it is also antibacterial in composition, because diabetic wounds are associated with lots of bacterial infection as well. So there is antibacterial component also present in this specific glass composition. And here is the study in comparison to a potent antibiotic, which is tobramycin. And as you can see, it is giving an excellent result in comparison. These are some of the material characterization. I'm not going into details. And this is how it should be used. These are the materials which we are developing, and then it is applied to the wound directly. It gets degraded in the wound slowly, and then
couple of minutes, 2 minutes.
Yes, I'll be finishing. And then you cover it with a backing material, and you need not have to change the active material, which is our bioactive glass, in it. In comparison to the market available dressings, which you need to change frequently within a period of 3-4 days, that also causes a lot of problems due to skin maceration, then more of wound around like that. And this is the mechanism of action, how it works for our composition. I'm not going into details due to the constraint of time. And this is one more new composition which we are working upon. This is a DRDO funded project, and this is a hemostatic dressing for profusely bleeding wounds in military setting for the soldiers when they're working, when they're when they're in battlefield in remote areas. They do not have any help, and the materials which are available due to the profuse bleeding in the market are QuikClot and Hempcon. So this QuikClot is a material which is basically clay. When you apply, you have a very extreme exothermic reaction, and there is a lot of pain which is generated. And Hempcon, etc., they are some sensitive materials are used which may create allergic reaction in the patients. So looking into this drawbacks, we are trying to develop this material. This is a non-woven cotton surgical gauze, and then we have invented one new composition of hemostatic glass, and this is glass impregnated gauze, and this is the final product. And these are some of the results which we have generated, and this is how we apply in it. It is it can be applied both on the surface as well as in the deep wound by insertion. So by direct compression method, and in the deep arterial bleeding, you can insert it also directly. So it is very easy to use. There is no need of assistance. There is no associated pain. It is cost effective. We have calculated the cost as well. So it is half the cost of the existing dressings which are available. And it is the method is also easy to scale up. This is also under patent filing condition. And this is the mechanism of action. I'm not going into details. The glass acts in the clotting cascade. It works with the proteins which is given here. This is the sequence. It is given here. It works on that. And this is the coating, the antimicrobial coating of another glass composition on the urinary tract catheter to take care of the catheter-associated infections, which are very big problems for many patients worldwide, because and there is no age bar. Many bedridden patients are using catheters. So this catheter-associated infection is a very big problem to them. So again, the mechanism of action is I'll just show in a later slide. And this is again the hygiene product, in which a similar composition of glass as a coating in the hygiene products we are providing, which takes care of the cost, and the existing materials are not so much potent antimicrobial in nature, and we have synthesized this glass. And the antimicrobial properties are being assessed now. And this is the mechanism of action for the antimicrobial property of the glass composition, which we have synthesized presently. And one more work which I have completed. This is an antacid. This is a ceramic-based antacid. This is Indian patent which is filed in 2017. It is actually ceramic-based, and it has the potent properties like acid neutralizing capacity, then buffering action, which is much better than the market available similar kind of antacids, inorganic antacids. And the patent has been filed. And these are some of the more results of that antacid, which I have mentioned just now. There is it has got cytoprotective action also, which the market available ones do not have. As you can see, the ulcer spots in the market composition, and here there is for our composition there is no such thing. And this is a comparison with the market compositions, which is showing it is having much better pertinent properties in comparison to the market brands. So I acknowledge our director, madam, then our HOD, all my divisional colleagues and colleagues from other division who have supported this work, and my students, who have carried out this work, experimental works, and their suggestions and participations. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Jimmy, for providing the overview of activities currently being carried out at Bioceramics and Coating Division. We can take one brief question if anyone has any. Otherwise, we'll move on to next talk. Okay, I think we can move